Well, leaving the Meadows, it was supposed to be, I love Friday night racing at the Meadows because usually they get over, especially if you're not in the last and they go with 12, you're over around 9 o'clock, 8:45, which is a late supper. But I like to go to the restaurant over there. You don't need reservations. There's not a ton of people in there. It's great food. And I like the atmosphere anyway. A night like tonight is great. They had like the wiener dog races and they had food trucks over there. It was really cool. But a couple of delays and we get done a little bit late. It's 10:15 right now. 2 hours plus 2:20 back to the house. I got to stop at the track. I got to stop and fill this up for Jason tomorrow morning. I got to stop at the track and grab my car, leave this truck. By the time I get home tonight, it's 1 o'clock. Now, all these baseball games have been rained out yesterday and today in Ontario. So they're going to start with 2 or 3 tomorrow, 2 for sure on Sunday. I can't watch the last one. I have to get back to drive Spitfire overseas. But for me to catch the first game of the tournament starts at 10 a.m. That means my alarm has to go off at 4:45 tomorrow morning. Ava and I are in Ohio right now. Ava went to a dance and was staying over at her friend's house. There's 2 or 3 of the girls staying over at a friend's house. And I called the mom tonight, texted her, very nice lady, and I said, Melissa, what time do you get up in the morning? She said, why? Question mark, question mark. I said, I don't want to wake anybody up, and it's not a big deal if it's not possible. I had mentioned to Ava this afternoon that her brother's baseball team, the game is at 10 a.m. in Mississauga, Ontario tomorrow. If we leave by 5:30, I can catch the game. But we'd have to leave by 5:30. And she said, well, I get up around that time anyway. I get up usually just after 5 as a rule. I can wake her up. It won't be a problem. I said, you sure it's not an imposition? Kind of early, and I don't want to disrupt the household. This was just kind of a last-minute thing. And she said, no, don't worry about it. So I get up at 4:45. Shower, shave, get in the car, drive, and pick up Ava at her friend's place, Maeve's place, and then head to Ontario. If all goes well, we should be getting there just as Oliver takes the field in Mississauga, Ontario. I'm very happy to do it. I have no problem doing it at all. And as I said, you guys know I love to watch Ollie play baseball. So it was supposed to be a 9 a.m. game, but with all the teams jostling for time slots, they moved Oliver's team back to 10, so it worked out perfect. Obviously, the hour is a big deal. Any earlier, and I couldn't possibly make it. So that's what I'm up to tomorrow. I jogged and trained all the horses that I wanted to look at today. I trained Go Strong Hanover. I'll probably go back with him Wednesday in the race bike, a mile in 2:10, 2:09, 2:10, somewhere around there. He was very good this morning. I was happy with what I saw. I jogged Bobby and all the other horses. A number of horses not training tomorrow because most of them are going in the race bike Tuesday with me. I have 12 2-year-olds slated to win the race bike. Those will all be singles, and I'll be going with them all on Tuesday morning. Wait, something's going on Tuesday. Ava's graduation, that's at nighttime. So Tuesday morning, I'll be training 12 babies in the race bike. We'll talk about all that in the videos this week. But for right now, I wanted to get to what took place at the Meadows. And today, not a whole lot today, just some jogging, a little bit of training. Nothing really to report. I was very happy with what I saw. As I also reported this week, the 3 horses that I thought maybe need a little bit of attention, Dr. Tessa looked at right away. And we did do a little bit of work on Joj Photag, ACDC, and there was one other horse. Joj Photag, ACDC. There was one other horse that we had done a little work on. Nothing major. Dr. Tessa was not too concerned, but they are going to get the weekend off. They're just jogging. They're not training. So I gave everybody a list of 15 horses that are not to train tomorrow. 3 are off until midweek at the earliest next week. And the other 12 I'll be training on Tuesday. Now, the plan is any of the horses that are eligible probably to the next generation. We talked about this yesterday. Uncle Danny for sure. Maybe Diosa della Danza, maybe Highest Honors. I want to get them on a 5/8 mile track before we did this last year with Aunt Lily and whatnot. So this isn't new. This isn't a new plan. And then we'll see about the fillies. But as of right now, Tomboy Strong for sure. We'll see if anybody creeps a little closer to those two horses over the next 2 weeks. I'll know more as we start putting in the race bikes a little bit more over the next 14 days. A week from Tuesday. Now, what's today? Today is the 23rd. So 23rd on Friday, not this Tuesday, but 2 Tuesdays from the next will be the 10th of June. That will be the first scheduled qualifiers for these horses, and it'll be right here at the Meadows. So if my calculations are correct, Jailbird Jog will be on the top of the list. If my calculations are correct, we will have 13 horses in to qualify at the Meadows on June the 10th. Obviously a little bit of shipping. We'll probably bring them over Monday afternoon. I suspect we may send 2 over beforehand and then take 11. Our rig fits 5 and we may borrow one. I know that Brian Loney has a bigger rig. I don't know if it's busy. If he's busy with it on Tuesday, if not, Monday, Tuesday. If not, we'll probably come over Monday afternoon, get the horses all settled in over here, and then a busy day Tuesday morning. Not nearly as busy as our open house. It is scheduled and locked in for June the 22nd at Northfield Park. Been very happy with what I've seen, and Northfield's always accommodating. There'll be a breakfast attributed to that. We got to work out, flesh out the details this weekend, Kelly and I and Curtis. Just a lot going on right now, and it should be a great time for everybody. So a little glimpse into what is going on, what went on this morning, what will be going on over the next few weeks. But let's get right to what did just take place tonight. We raced tonight. We raced 6 horses. I believe they all got checks, did they not? Yes. We had a second with Tenacious, 5th with Patrick de Piranha, 5th with Manhattan Money, 3rd with 3 Point Blue Chip, and a 2nd with Yo Mister. So a pretty good night at the office. I told you guys earlier on the video this week, I didn't get a warm, fuzzy feeling about tonight. Patrick de Piranha's been racing great, but drew the 8. There's a couple of tough ones in there tonight. You know, Manhattan Money drew the rail. Draw's good, just not a great place for him to leave from. Then we get stuck behind another horse. But the biggest problem with Manhattan Money is he's this big, lumbering animal. He doesn't sprint well. So to get him into the passing lane, he was on the left line a little bit. When I got him in there, he was on the right line in the turn. And then Jeremy's horse is running in, so I had to get my wheel around him. But what I was left with was half of a stretch to try and make up ground. And a big horse that seems to really like 56. And that's exactly where he trotted to. So I can't really be upset. Had I left all I could. But had we got away in front of Jeremy, I believe we're probably 2nd at 55 to Palone's horse. But as it turned out, we were a close 5th. So I thought he raced well. 3 Point Blue Chip raced good, a little short. That left hind was bothering him a little bit again, where he was chewing on it before. So maybe he was scrubbing on it a little bit. But again, got in behind a horse I didn't want to get in behind, and kind of had to knife my way through. I told Tim, we changed his shoes because he was hitting that left shin up high. The shoes we put on him seemed to work, but not really. He's still chewing at himself up hind, left hind. You could see it in the turn at the half. He got roughed a little bit. Got to put that gate and pull back on the inside and help him out a little bit in the turns. We're doing the best we can with him. It's not something that's dire. It's not something that will progressively get worse. In fact, it will likely get progressively better. But it is a tough bugger to deal with, because it's something that he chews at a little bit every week. Right? It's a struggle to keep him away from there. And I'm hesitant to talk to Tim about shoeing changes, because you have that old fracture in that foot up front. Do we really want to start tinkering with angles and degrees on that foot? I'm obviously very protective of that also. So at this point, I think we can make do with what we have right now. If that has to change, we can pivot to something else maybe in the future. I mean, the good news is the horse wants to do his work. His attitude was good tonight. I thought he raced pretty well. And again, had I been able to get away in the 2-hole, I finished an easy second. He had lots of pop at the wire and lots of trot at the wire. He raced well. And then we finished the night off. I watched Yo Mister, same as you did. He raced well tonight. So, quick little recap. Tenacious Hanover. I left, got away in a good spot. I thought he could have won. But again, a big mile from him. That's probably one of the fastest miles he's paced for us in quite a while. 53-1. And he was pacing on the end of it and raced rather well. I was happy with him. Patrick DePrana, 51-2 or 51-4. 27-2 on the end of it. Can't ask for much more than that. Manhattan Money 56 flat, 28-4, something like that. Raced good. That's what he is. You know, you get away better, finish better. And I got away as well as I could. We kind of got stogged and mired in traffic, but he raced pretty well. 3-Point Blue Chip raced as good as he could. Again, a fast closing third, just beat for second. And Yo Mister raced well. Beaten by, that horse was the favorite, or second favorite in the Open 2 weeks ago against Looks Like Money. So he's no joke, the horse that, the Emerald's Legacy, that beat Yo Mister. He made 6 figures at the Meadows last year racing in overnights. So a really, really nice horse in his own regard. And he raced well at Miami Valley. Now I'm done racing until Sunday night, but we are not. We rock Shining Star tomorrow at Scioto Downs. He's picked like 7 or 8-1, but always in the hunt and always in a good spot. He drew 6-hole, middle of the gate, see if he can get away well. Roseanne Alexander's picked low odds also. She's in a good spot. Hopefully she can keep moving forward. Time is on my side, is in the Open at Mohawk. I don't think James is likely to expose him too much. He's got the Graduate the week after. And JK Victory, 10-1. Just, you know, I had one of our clients, Jim, messaged me the other day and asked about what we're going to do with JK Victory. It's not an easy situation. You know, we can't just move the horse for the sake of moving him. We moved him to Ontario because there was a series there for him, and it's not going to be very easy for him in Ontario, but quite frankly, it's not going to be easy for him anywhere, right? At all. It's not like you can go to Northfield or the Meadows or anywhere. Even you talk Indiana, it's still, there's no cakewalks, there's no gimmies. Everything is on the table. I'm watching all the races everywhere just to see if I can get a feel for where's a good spot for JK Victory. You know, I feel bad. I was talking to Ryan Barry, the trainer in Maine. Patrick DePrana won his way out of that non-winner series that he would have fit in Maine. And quite frankly, with the way that Neptune raced the other night, those were the two that were on my radar to go to Maine. Both those horses were good. Now, having said that, JK Victory can probably race good in Plain Ridge. I haven't talked to Mr. Barry about how far he is from Plain Ridge. And I know that he got around Northfield adequately. Could he race in Maine? Geez, that's a tough track. That's a tight track. I'm just trying to look for a spot where we can do some damage with JK Victory, right? And I just, it's a tough one, right? And as I said to Jim, I can't just say, well, I'll just put him on a trailer and bring him back here. Okay, cool. Where are we going to race him? He get killed at Northfield in the middle conditions right now. The Meadows, the problem is it's thin in the middle, which means there's a lot of combinations. And there's always a good horse or two dropping down. They always go in 50-51. Scioto, same thing. Shark Tank. It's just a tough spot to find a race for a horse right now. But we'll see how he races over the next little while, and we'll try and formulate a spot for him along the way. Now Sunday is interesting also. We have Woodmere Betcha is 3-1, going for $21,000 at Summerside Raceway in the, what's it called, the PEI Colt Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. 3-1. I don't know if she's picked to win. I didn't look at the draw, but she is one of the better ones in there, and coming off a very, very good victory in Truro, Nova Scotia. Woodmere Betcha's in a really good spot this week. And worth noting also, you know, we bought the Maritime horses for our Maritime clients. It's fun, but quite frankly, they're racing for very good money. $13,000, I think, last week, or 11 something in Truro, 21,000 here in Summerside, and this is just the start of the summer. So some good money being handed out in Prince Edward Island also. So maybe food for thought next year. Makes it a little easier to scoop a horse or two. And Woodmere Bullet hasn't even started yet. He's already trained in 2.9, 2.10. So very interesting. As I said, food for thought as we move forward with these horses in the Maritimes. Spitfire Overseas will be my first drive. Now, I'm a little disappointed. I can't stay to watch Ollie's last game if they make it into the championship. I know I booked off the first part of the card, but if I had confidence that one Spitfire, I don't want to be halfway home and watch Spitfire Overseas make a break at Northfield Park and wonder if it was somebody's fault. And he's a hard horse to drive anyway. Gives you a feeling like he's going to leave, but can't. He almost baits you in sometimes to letting him. He's not the easiest horse to drive, and I've never been super confident of him getting around a half-mile track. So we'll see how he races on Sunday. I do have to be here, so I'm going to wait as long as I can and make my way back to Northfield. But I did have drives, I believe, in all or most of the first 5 races, and booked off all of them just to get back for Spitfire Overseas. Save America again drew the 8-hole. I don't really know. I'd love to tell you, man, we're just going to blast them, but I don't know that we can. We'll see. 8 is still 8 in Northfield Park, and regardless of what class you're in, that 8-hole, man, it is the great equalizer. That's for sure. Greatest Ending is in a great place on Sunday. I like what I see from him. Just a fantastic mile last week from him. I really liked what I saw there. And then Neptune, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He raced good the other day. He's going to show his muster on Sunday night. If he shows up Wednesday, back Sunday, all right, maybe there's a horse in there. We'll get a real good look at what he's made of Sunday night, because back on short order, not the easiest way to race. So we'll see how Neptune does. That will end our week. We start our Monday. Memento Mori at Vernon. I couldn't understand why he wasn't picked to win. The horse that's picked to win made more money than Memento Mori last year. Made like 160 and appeared to be a very good Sire Stake or Excelsior Sire Stake, I don't know, horse last year. He's starting in the Excelsior also. I believe he's had a good week, and I had a long conversation with Steve today about Maury, and I have to remind everybody, and Steve understood anyway, New York has a lot of lags. It's a long year, and my chore right now, my number one concern and quite frankly job, is to try and keep and put weight on Memento Mori, keep his stress level down, and that is why Karen and her husband ended up keeping Maury over for Vernon. We'll see how this one goes. The next one, I believe, is in Monticello, where I know he'll get around. What I would love to see on Monday is him get over the track well, Mark be very happy with him, and then we'll make a plan for Monticello. If he self-destructs or doesn't race well at Vernon, he may have to come back here and we get a look under the hood, because I'm going to pitch the race at Plain Ridge. 1, it wasn't on his trip, and 2, the surface was very deep, so I'll give him a pass. But I am interested to see how he races at Vernon Downs on Monday. And Resolve Indeed also, one brother driving Memento Mori, the other brother driving Resolve Indeed in Ontario, and that is James. Now she's come out of Flamborough and she's racing in the grassroots. I can't imagine. She's low odds, 8-1, not bad. She's 8-1. And then we're back Tuesday, a little tricky. I'm going to have to do some stick handling on Tuesday. Ava's graduation is here. A number of our family members are coming over for the graduation. Well, after the graduation, I was hoping to get supper in and then go and drive. 8:56 is Never Lose Felix. We both know that's not 8:56 in Northfield. That's probably 9:15. If we can get to the restaurant by 7:30, I can make it for 9:15 to drive Never Lose Felix. Then everybody's happy. So Never Lose Felix, Blue Ventura, Admiral Dio on Wednesday. We'll talk about our horses that's Tuesday, sorry. We'll talk about our Wednesday horses after that. I do know that Melisandre is in a number of horses at Northfield Park. It should be a great end to the week and a great week next week. Also, Arrowhead Hanover is also in on Wednesday. I'm going to drive both of them. And then come back for Northfield at night. So that is what took place tonight, what's taking place for the rest of the week, what is going on with a number of the 2-year-olds. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to do some videos. I'm not too tired. I'll do some videos on the way back to Ontario, talking with the racehorses, the 3-year-olds, all the 2-year-olds, where they're at, what they're doing. Maybe Amy and I, it's not quite June the 1st yet, but maybe Amy and I will grade the horses for you. We've got a pretty good look under the hood for most of them. I'm still super surprised, shocked, and very proud of our staff that I can honestly say every single one of our 2-year-olds have a path to qualify by the first part or middle part of July, which is a huge pat on the back for, as I said, our staff, our trainers, quite frankly, our horses. So I hope you guys had and are having a great Friday evening. It's coming to an end now in an hour and a half. Saturday, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'll be in Mississauga, Ontario tomorrow and Sunday, and then directly after the game or not even before the last game on Sunday, I'm going to start to make my way back to Ohio for the last race cards of the week. Take care. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful, as I said, rest of your weekend.